kind of sharing that I like to do, and this one is wonderful for all sorts of areas. Whether you're going into the poetic, which is doing literacy things and literature things. So let's say right now, I'm doing mythology with my 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So their job, we just finished studying John Campbell's, I don't know what his name is, Campbell's Heroes, The Journey of the Hero. And we went into that, that's a adult book that I read, and then we summarized the journey of the hero. And then what we've done is take the heroic ventures in different cultures and look at how the journey of the hero is represented. So it starts with call to adventure, and it's the training and the interaction with the feminine and all of that. So then what I did with them was I read a story out loud to them, and I sent them into their triads. One of them was the encourager. He was saying, his job was to say, yeah, guys, that's a good idea. And he could also give his own ideas. I think one of the biggest fallacies when people were doing cooperative learning earlier is that they restricted their jobs, so the kids just thought, all my job is to talk and say, yeah, good job, yeah. No, his job is to say specifically what the idea was and why he liked it, and always to piggyback. That's what I tell my encouragers. You can't be an encourager unless you're genuine. Nobody wants to hear, good job, wonderful, wow, super, terrific. They get enough of that from teachers who don't know how to encourage. Okay? The job of a child as an encourager in my group is to pick specific things they hear, tell what the specific thing is, and then piggyback and say, yeah, and we also could. And we work very hard on that. You also have your manager, who's the person who's going to make sure that we all do what we're supposed to do, which is still part of the cooperation. And then the reporter, who's going to create their keyword card in order to be able to come back and share with us. And we do that. So for instance, I did a story the other day with my kids, my middle schoolers, and I then sent them into triads, and their job was to trace the hero's journey through the story and to write down the elements that they saw. Did it fit the journey? Was there death? Was there the abyss? Was there resurrection? What, all of that. And so we did that. It works wonderfully. And the kids know what their job is. Now, will the same kid be recorder tomorrow? No, they change jobs constantly. It just switches around. I do often keep my kids throughout a unit in the same triad, unless it's not working. Okay? But the idea is to get them to stand up and to speak. Now, when they're on the floor and they're talking about that content piece, everybody's going to speak, and it's required that they're all participating. The other piece is that at the end of the lesson, we then evaluate. We go back into our triads, and on the back of their card, their little keyword card that they have to turn into me, they have to write down how they did as a group. Who talked the most? Did anybody talk more than someone else? Were you good listeners? What evidence do I have that you were good listeners? Because I really want them to be able to evaluate themselves. I also do buzz groups, which are the same kind of thing, only when I do a buzz group, it becomes 5 kids, because I have a bigger subject that needs more interaction, and I'll choose it based on whether it's going to be poetic language. I'm trying to get them to deal with literary things, such as looking at characters. We're beginning with Triad Chronicles next week. I'll do a lot of buzz groups with Triad Chronicles, and that'll give me a chance to get them together and do it. Whether it's with Triad Chronicles, what I probably will do at times is we're reading The High King as a group. They've been reading the first 4 on their own. And when we get ready to read the Triad Chronicles, one of the things that I will do is I will ask them to read the chapter, and then as a group, decide what they think were the essential elements in that chapter, and come back to us, and then all of us will collaborate to make our group graphic of what we thought came from that and what we learned from it. Because it's hard for me to get information from every one of my kids, but if they all work together, I can. The same with when they have projects, and I can put them together. The idea is to do lots and lots and lots of talking with a purpose. I believe my motto is that teaching should be meaningful, purposeful, and engaging. And if you win the t-shirt that we're giving away at the end of this session, it has a big Super Teacher logo on the front with ST, Becky's got one on. Hers has been worn so much, it's looking pretty crummy, but